Hey everyone, and welcome to the 89th episode of We're All in the Same Boat. Game of Thrones is over, and everyone is losing their mind. Today, I am here with Shayne.
Hola.
Jordan.
¿Cómo estás, amigos?
That's racist. Josh.
Hello.
And Ruji, who has hiccups.
Hello, it's me.
If you could imagine Bob the Tomato's face every time the song comes on, that's Luke's face right now.
I know. It's like she literally got hiccups like 1 minute before starting, and I'm like, there are plenty of things. You could be a baseball player.
I know.
You could be a football player. You could do almost anything with hiccups, except for being on a podcast.
I went to wash my hands, and when I came back, I had hiccups.
Well,
It happens.
we're going to roll with it. As always, you can check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. If you want to be a good fan, go to the bottom of the page of the iTunes app after searching. I did it all in the wrong order. We're All in the Same Boat. Give us 5 stars and leave us a review.
All right.
Follow our Instagram at WAITSB Podcast. Everybody, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
It's
for
Welcome,
having
Jordan.
me.
Thank you.
Ruji, and Shayne. I don't know if Josh said thank you.
It is a full house. I was unexpectedly surprised, but this is great. That means I can talk less.
Yeah, actually, just to start off, Shayne, did you even watch the episode or no?
I did. No, I was at a party, a Game of Thrones finale party.
Oh, no.
Okay, so everyone's seen it,
I'm
right?
informed.
Yeah. Seen them all.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm hiccuping. Yes, I've seen it. I've seen the episode too.
Okay. This is a new dynamic because everyone is on Discord and Ruji's sitting right next to me. So I'm kind of like going in between looking at her and then looking at the computer and talking to nobody. It's like there's nobody there.
Ruji, hiccup if you affirm.
Should have did a video call.
That's okay, Luke. She's far prettier to look at than us, so you're good to go.
That is the dang
Thank you,
truth right
guys.
there.
Thank you.
Ruji, I can't talk with you. I can't do it. I cannot host. It's already weird enough. It's weird enough that she's in the room with me and I'm talking to a computer at the same time. I've never done this before. But then every time I start to explain something, I just hear
I'm trying not to.
background.
All right, I'm gonna try harder.
Okay.
Tonight
just
on
got
We're All in the
softer.
Same Boat podcast, Luke's ADHD is tested by hiccups.
Yeah, tell me about it. This is not easy at all.
There's a
So,
hiccups?
everyone watched Game of Thrones, and who here was a fan? Like, who loved this show? I know Ruji. I know you
Me.
did.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes, I love the show.
Me.
Josh and Jordan, you're both huge
Oh, yeah.
fans.
Oh, yeah.
Has everyone been a fan up till season
No.
8?
I've seen 5 episodes all within the last month.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And they're all
Okay.
season 8?
No, they were not all season 8. No.
Oh, God.
Well, you can still sit with us.
I did start from the beginning. I started from the beginning.
Oh, it's cold.
Dang.
I love it.
So hold up. So Josh, I remember you showed me Game of Thrones before I knew even what it was. This is a long time ago.
Yeah,
So you've been into it for a long time.
Yeah, so we don't have HBO, but I've kept up with every episode via YouTube.
Most people
and,
that
like,
watch it
inside,
don't.
like,
Just saying. I'm just saying most people pirate the show, but
right. Well, I'm a goody
Nobody
goody
here
two-shoes, so
does.
it's true.
okay. Go ahead, keep going.
No, I was gonna say I've kept up with every single episode through YouTube clips, episode reviews, and then my dad owns all the seasons. So anything I miss, I just go and watch from him.
Mm-hmm. And you've been a big fan for a long time. Jordan, I didn't know that you were into this show.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were always talking about Star Wars or superheroes. We never got into Game of Thrones. We didn't have enough
Or
time.
predestination.
Yeah. Versus determinism, which turned into something else entirely.
Right. But so you've watched the whole thing too, from season 1
Yeah,
all the way on?
from
Did you start
season
early
1,
on?
Yep. No. I was that quote cool guy that waited for like 5 seasons or 6 seasons to come out before I started because I didn't want to sit around waiting for a year for them. I wanted to binge watch almost all of them. So I started back in like 2016 or early 2017.
Okay. And then Ruji, what about you?
Kind of like Jordan, where I started like before season 5, and not intentional. I just wasn't. There was too much hype around it, and I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. And I was like, I'm not watching this. I don't want to watch this. But a friend of mine, he loved it. His wife read the books, and they were avid fans, so I started watching it too. Because one day they're like, oh, let me just show you. And I'll explain it to you, and you'll tell me if you don't like it. So he made me watch the first episode, and the first thing he said was, you see this? You see how much they're laughing? That's the happiest episode in the whole season. They'll never be this happy again. And then that was enough for me to start watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's actually a good question.
And said, here, try this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's actually a good question. Who read the books?
I did not.
I've only read the first one.
Hold up. Josh, did you read the books?
I'm sorry, I interrupted Jordan. Go ahead, Jordan.
No, I was saying I started listening to the audiobooks after season 7, so I didn't go into the books right away.
But you at least, whether you read the books or listened to the book. See, here's the thing. I always say, like, I read this book, and by read I meant I listened to it because
yeah.
I don't really.
It's the same thing.
It still qualifies.
So you're reading the books currently.
Yeah, I'm going through the first one.
And so for the next 15 years, you'll be reading the books because they're so long.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so
Yeah.
33 hours.
I can't do that.
For one book.
I tried doing that with Harry Potter. There was no way.
No.
Isn't the book series still currently being written as
Yes.
We can
If we're
get
lucky.
into that.
We will talk about that. So let's
Because
we have a lot.
I watched an interview that had some inside information on that, so we can
Oh.
About the final book.
Oof, insiders.
about the final books, plural.
Plural. Ooh,
Yeesh.
a cash grab.
That's not a good sign.
Kidding.
Yeah, because I know that they're doing a bunch of. Ruji.
Sorry.
I don't know how to do
I'm
it.
sorry, go on.
I'm apologizing. I mostly feel
That's why.
bad for the audience. I don't mind it, but
They're living it up, Luke.
all right. I can't host the episode.
He told me to be close to the microphone, and then I'm just sitting here, and then the minute he starts talking, that's when I hiccup.
And I just know everyone listening is like,
When you have to hiccup, just back up really fast.
Yeah,
don't know if she
I'm
can.
trying.
it's too, the microphone is too high quality and picks everything.
High quality.
Garbage.
What was I saying? The books.
We're talking about reading the books.
Yes.
So Jordan's listening to them. I've only read the first one.
Did you enjoy the first one?
I did enjoy the first one.
Because I can't even read Tolkien, so I feel like I wouldn't be able to read these books.
It's not the same.
They're not the same, but it's still as difficult because Tolkien, there's just explanations of like a tree for 5 pages, which is kind of the classic thing. But George R. R. Martin's difficult.
Ruji has a question for you, Josh.
What's
Go ahead.
Tolkien's?
Lord of the Rings.
Got
I
it.
just heard one person go. Getting Ruji into Lord of the Rings is still a progress, or it's a work in progress. We're
Yes.
not
The
there.
OG
okay.
Game of Thrones, man.
That's okay.
I know. Whatever. The ending of Lord of the Rings is way better than the ending of Game of Thrones. Just saying.
I haven't seen
that
that
is
yet.
unbelievably
Have
true.
mercy, yes.
Honestly,
again-
the ending of How I Met Your Mother was better than the ending of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is. That is.
The ending of The Big Bang Theory was way better.
I didn't even know that ended.
Yeah.
Also,
I know
Last
it
Jedi
ended
ending
the
was better.
same. It ended the same weekend. Ooh.
In the same week? Oh my gosh.
Was
Ooh.
Dexter? Here's the thing: is Dexter's ending better?
Dexter's was anticlimactic, so I'd put it up there with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know if Dexter. Well, yeah, Dexter's was horrible. I just don't know
was
if Game of Thrones was worse than Dexter.
Can we get into the episode? Can we get into it now?
Yes.
Yeah, because I mostly want to know who knows about it. Because here's the thing: I actually haven't watched every single episode of Game of Thrones. I've missed a couple episodes.
That's
Okay.
fine.
But
fine.
it's because it's HBO, and so it's hard to get to. And it's actually not my favorite show. I do think it's good. I just don't get into it like some people, mostly because I can't keep up with all the characters as well, and I don't do the homework that you kind of have to do outside of the episodes. So
do that?
you
That's
like
no
you have to study the characters to know the story, and that I just never wanted to do that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I
So
never had a
Luke-
problem.
You're
I mean,
wrong.
A little bit, yeah, you do. I had to excuse me, every single time that I watched a new season, I had to go back and rewatch the whole series up to that point to refresh my memory as to who's Gendry, who's Gendry, who's Sir Davos, like who is, obviously I knew Jorah because he's one of my favorites, but all these little minor characters that in the end ended up being really big names.
Mm-hmm. But I apologize because the podcast I listened to, they talked about Game of Thrones every single episode. So they just talked about the plot points immediately. So it was like a refresher. Like say it came out on Sunday, I was listening to it on Saturday. So I have the previous episode already refreshed for me before I went into the new episode. So I guess I did the homework just on accident.
Yeah, right.
I like listening to the Game of Thrones lore, like those like videos on YouTube and stuff. That helps.
Yeah, see that's the homework that I didn't want to ever do.
But it's fun. Like it's really well done.
Fun.
Like it's really enjoyable.
If I had, I know that now that I probably would have gotten more into the show if I actually took the time to watch those videos. But I wasn't watching video essays. Like those are big on YouTube right now. Is like the video essays.
Oh no, I don't do that.
But I wasn't watching those until now, and now it's like, well, Game of Thrones is over. And,
so Ruji,
I hate it.
So Ruji, you asked about Tolkien. If you really like the world that George R. R. Martin built in A Song of Ice and Fire, like you would love the world that Tolkien built, because without Tolkien, there's no George R. R. Martin creating a world like this.
Really?
So, oh yeah,
absolutely.
Because that was the before. That was before Jordan. Okay, JJ. Okay.
Yeah, Tolkien was in
like World
Tolkien
War I,
was
World War II era.
Yeah, Tolkien was 40s, 50s, 60s.
Oh god.
So
Okay, so Game of Thrones finished up finally. It's been like 10 years, I think, of this show.
Yeah.
Josh, like you said, you've been watching it for a long time. Because I remember you introduced it to me when you came to visit us in Virginia, which was like forever ago. And it was like season 2 or 3 stuff that you were showing. So this show's been like, been out forever. When did it, like 2010?
2011, I think.
2011. So like a lot of
because
like
it's been 8 years.
Yeah. Well, I thought they missed. I thought they skipped it.
It was a 2
you know
year,
what?
a 2 year break.
Yeah, they did.
It's been 10 years technically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 years of Game of Thrones, and everyone, I think that from what I can understand, almost every single season, everyone has almost universally been like, this is amazing. The story, the acting, the characters, everything's amazing. And then it got a little shaky, I think, on 6 and 7. Most people liked it. A few people had an issue with it. And now season 8 has just jumped the shark, or whatever the phrase is.
It did.
Just nosedive. I put a picture on Instagram and it was like all the seasons rated per episode.
Oh, that's great.
And all the episodes are like up. So it's like season 1, season 2, season 3. They're all up in the air. And then season 8 is just like nosedive. It's like straight down.
Yeah. It's pretty sad.
They did a terrible job. And everybody blamed HBO because the author was no longer involved, right? He was done.
Right.
I think the author is like annoyed.
Oh, he was so annoyed.
Like he's like pissed off at the studio.
So, well, it's really weird because there's two different sides to this. So the two writers, D&D, because I can't remember their names, David and David.
For everyone listening, apparently the writers are called D&D by most people.
Yeah, so D&D were handpicked by George R. R. Martin 10 years ago. Like, I want these guys to write Game of Thrones, this TV show, and literally no one else will do. Well, then D&D are moving on to Star Wars and wanted to wrap things up because HBO.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
the next film.
Yeah.
Wait,
so
they're writing. What are they doing?
They're right. I think there's more Star Wars movies in the works, and D&D are the writers for that.
I did not know that, and that makes so much sense now because they're probably under a deadline.
That's literally what it feels
and they're like,
like.
"Oh, wrap this up. Everybody's happy ever after. Bye."
This episode literally, this season literally felt like they were like, I just don't want to do this. You know what it felt like? It felt like if I was writing a paper for school and I was doing a really good job. And then the last like paragraph, I was just like, no, I don't care. Whatever, summary done. Just get this paper out of my life. That's what this last season felt like.
They did so much character development.
Well, so there's that, and then D&D only wanted to do 7 seasons. George R. R. Martin and HBO wanted like 10 to 12 seasons, and they compromised at 8. So
that makes sense. That they
and
want to do it.
Right. Well, then, and now let's kick back into the books thing really quick. So it was after season 5 that the source material ran out, right? The books. Because every season was tracking through one book or 2 books at a time for source content. Well, after season 5, all the books were done. The actor who played Barristan Selmy, Sir Barristan, revealed in an interview, and I don't know, he said in an interview that he talked to George, and it was in his contract that he was not allowed to publish the last 2 books until after the show was done.
Oh my!
Oh, I did not know that.
Right. So you would assume and you would hope that the writers would sit down with George and say, "Hey George, how does this end?" And he tells them the ending, and they say, "Okay, we're going to get there this way, and maybe you get there another way." But it kind of begs the question of, I don't think that's how it ends at all. Like,
there's no way.
Or if it does, there's going to be it's going to make sense.
Well, yeah, because I bet all the stuff. I'm pretty sure that unless he changes it now, that this is the way the books end, or very similar to the way the books are going to end. Yeah, but think about this. So, without, obviously, I didn't even say this at the beginning. Spoilers, okay? If you're listening to this episode and you're worried about Game of Thrones spoilers, you're dumb. It's on you now, okay? So, we will be talking all sorts of spoilers for Season 8. So, that's your warning.
It's been 10 years, so you've had time.
Yeah, well. But I mean, for Season 8. So, for example... Danny getting killed by Jon probably happens, but I bet it's probably a whole book before it happens. You know, I bet it's a ton of stuff probably happens, and to have it just like that.
He was too manipulated by her to all of a sudden be like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And no, but I didn't know he was gonna kill her. There was no other way this could end. He was revived for a big reason, and it was to put her out.
And that's what irritated me about that storyline, too, because there was no acknowledgement of it. There was no build-up to it. Of course, they had to rush it, obviously. But if they had another 3 seasons, you could have slowly saw him go down that rabbit hole of, oh my god, I gotta kill her. She's becoming what we promised to destroy. I mean, he's too much like his stepdad. I mean, his dad. I keep forgetting his name.
His uncle.
Is that I thought it was his... Oh, that's right.
Grandfather.
Ned is his uncle.
Grandfather.
Yeah.
Oh, she's too much like her dad. Is what you're saying?
No,
yes.
I'm saying Jon's too much like the man who raised him. He's
Ned
exactly
Stark.
Yeah.
Ned,
yes, thank you.
Ned Stark is his uncle.
Okay, exactly. So, dad, uncle, same thing at this particular.
He thought it was his dad, but then it turned out to
this
be.
is Game of Thrones.
For all intents and
he could
purposes,
be his uncle, dad. We don't know.
It's Game of
be
Thrones.
Clear.
Families don't matter.
Apparently not, but let's be very clear on the family tree here. So Jon was a bastard. He was raised by Ned, thinking that was his bastard son.
Correct.
But
when
no.
He was a Targaryen
what happened was a Targaryen had 3 children, 2 sons. The eldest one had an affair with Ned's sister. In result of that affair and that marriage was Jon. But she died, and the other one died too, because Robert Baratheon killed him because he thought that he raped her.
Thank you for clarifying that. I needed that.
Yeah, and then she never knew, and she found out after they had sex. And my favorite part was that she was like, oh, "You're the true heir of the kingdom." I'm like, "How about I had sex with my nephew?" Like, how can you do that?
On her mind.
Like I said, in Game of Thrones, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But that's why they were all crazy, because the Targaryens basically made families within their bloodline. So brothers and sisters or cousins, they would just be together so that to keep it all in the family, they didn't want to bring any other bloods and keep it pure for the dragons or whatever.
Makes sense.
Super messed up.
Doomsday weapon.
Yep.
All right.
So to talk about this episode a little bit, I have no structure that I want to kind of follow because I want to kind of let this just flow out. Right. To start off,
you don't need structure because the whole episode was hot garbage.
Well, we're not even talking about the last episode. We're talking about the whole season.
Dude, the whole last season was hot garbage.
So some people were complaining in the episode with the White Walkers how the battle strategy made no sense. Like they had the trebuchets were at the front of the battle, and it's like, why don't you have those behind the wall? Why would you put those out in the... Why would you only launch 2 rockets? Like, people have those issues. I don't have issues like that as often, because for me, it's more of like, are you telling the story well? Okay, maybe a battle general could look at this and say it's not accurate. I would like it to be accurate, but I don't care as much. However, the way it just sort of ended, like they built up these White Walkers for the whole show, and then it's just like over, done. That's it. They're all gone now. And you're like, what was Bran doing? He had
nothing.
What? They were just zombies, and then the zombies were just gone.
Yeah. Go on.
Vampires. They're vampires.
Right. Well, so first of all, quickly, Luke, to your, I don't really care about the battle plans and trebuchets and all that.
I acknowledge that it's not right.
No.
I just think there's worse issues than that.
So I agree with you, because I don't normally care about that either. Here's the problem, though. This show, what made this show so great was how realistic it was. Like, how realistic is like a battle, and like as far as I can remember, Game of Thrones like provides the most graphic, realistic depiction of what medieval conflict would have actually been like. And then it felt like they just kind of threw that out the window for a super like stupid like no reason at all. Like, okay, now everyone's idiots and we're going to throw all of our best men, like run at them and they die. And it's like, what?
Sorry.
I mean, it's a battle strategy. Right? Like, what are you gonna do? Everybody's just gonna go in at once. They're all gonna die. So they're like, okay, let's all figure out who is the strongest, and if the strongest fail, like, who's the next one that's gonna go, and then after that, and so on. So,
well, like, what I don't understand is it's like,
okay, no.
Battle of the Bastards.
There's a kid.
Battle of the Bastards was amazing.
There's a kid my age who all he does is play Rome Total War and other video games. He could have drawn up a better battle plan than that. Sorry.
But dramatic wise, like, what's going to draw attention, you got to think about cinematic, what tells a story, as well as what gets the action, right? So the first thing to go is Dany's army.
Oh, for sure.
And all that goes away. Now, if that didn't happen, everything would have gone according to plan, and Dany would have just like been okay, and some of people would have died, other people would, but they all died. She was left with no one, right? So that was a big trigger, and I think
it's like here's what I'll say about that. Like, it is good to have that happen, and I love the way that all the swords caught on fire and they all run out there, and then all the swords just go out, and you're like, oh no.
That was visually pleasing, yes.
Right. So I liked all that, but there is a point where it's weird. It doesn't make sense. So like another example is that the White Walkers are like running over everyone, and then all the the Baratheon? What are they called?
No, the
people that ran out.
The Unsullied.
I'm obviously still low.
Dothraki.
Dothraki, yeah. So they run out there and they all get killed, and it's like, why didn't you just have the dragons start and just nuke half the...
Exactly.
Because they didn't...
Before all the zombies get mixed in with your own men, then you nuke them.
Look, they don't know where the other dragon is.
Yeah, but they...
The dead dragon. They don't know where that dragon is.
That was a plot point.
They're not gonna go and, hey, let me take my other dragon so they could kill him again.
So I'm doing 2 things here. I'm acknowledging that the battle is not perfect, but I'm also acknowledging that, to me, it's not a huge deal, especially compared to the other stuff that's wrong.
So
I didn't have a major problem.
So can I make a quick distinction, because I think we're going to run into this a lot, talking about Game of Thrones this last season and the rest of the show. I think we might all be able to agree that the execution, for the most part, was pretty good. Like cinematography, the acting, like all of that was great. The problem is that the writing was garbage.
Yeah,
100%.
And so there's that dichotomy where, if I'm just watching that last battle, other than some of the complaints that it was too dark, but you can get past that because there was a point to that, right? Like that battle was awesome. It's when you combine it with the writing where you're like, hang on a second. Like
everyone died.
Like we've been held to this this really high standard of like, this show is super realistic, and both the execution and the writing are phenomenal. And the execution was phenomenal, but the writing was, in the septic tank.
Oh, 100%.
So there's that distinction, I think, to be made also.
And the reason I was saying the battle matters, and the reason we're jumping on the strategy, because if you look at the Battle of the Bastards, the cinematography and the way they did it was amazing, just like the end episode. But their plane mattered because they had counters for horses, they had counters for cavalry, they had counters for spears, bows. They're all fighting each other strategically, and that made a difference in how the scene was shot, how they approached the writing to it, and it changed. It made that episode even greater because it wasn't just, oh my god, they're cavalry, they're going to get trampled. Oh look, they have spike pits for the horses. They have a way to take an army that's outnumbering them 2 or 3 to 1. I can't remember exactly the odds, but reduce them down, build them up, and literally build mountains of bodies. Like there was a way to fight back, and in this case, they're outnumbered by millions. You're not going to win unless you're fortified and in an area where you can get into choke points and kill them.
Like I said, and like Josh said, like I thought, and Josh said, the cinematography is all good. The action is all good. The acting is good. The makeup is good. Did I say acting? Acting is good.
Their budget
even the
is
directing,
well spent.
but it's like directing on a bad script. So as an example, I really like the idea of Danny snapping and blowing up the whole city.
Oh, for sure.
I really like that. But you kind of were like,
I thought that was stupid.
But why? You know, it's like I was trying to make the point to somebody that if she had, let's say that Cersei didn't surrender, and Cersei's like all smug, like, I'm not going to surrender. You're going to have to just, whatever. I'm not going to surrender. I'm not going to surrender. And that's when Danny gets like angry because she's being mocked. And that's when she just nukes everything.
She surrendered. They did the whole bell thing.
That's why I'm saying it's stupid. Because it's like they surrendered. Now, the other thing I don't like is okay. I'm getting too excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull back. One of the things that I was trying to think of, how do you make Danny snapping make more sense? And I think that if you had more time, that's one. And two,
for sure.
Like imagine if the bells are ringing and then Cersei is really smug, like, now you can't kill us because we surrendered. And then imagine Danny looks down and there's people in the crowd that are acting smug, like, all right, you've got a dragon, but you can't kill us. We gave up. Okay, whatever. Like they have like this attitude, and she kind of has this, I'm going to be the queen, but no one respects me. And all these villagers, nobody respects me. And that's when she just snaps, like, I'm wiping these people out. You know, like there was nothing that connected to why she's like, all right, all these innocent people are scum and they got to go away.
I'll agree with you. On that for sure.
I do see
there were
that.
some past mentions of her killing anybody and everyone and just demolishing them all.
Because through all of it, she's always like, I'm not going to hurt innocent people.
No, but there was references where she was talking about it. If you go back, like someone was a program I was watching was bringing up some of the references where she's basically said, "I will kill that every man, woman, and child." Essentially, I'm paraphrasing here. But she'll destroy King's Landing. She'll destroy everything involved in that town. But her character arc adjusted so much and for so long that it went to that good. Like, where did you snap out of nowhere? It's that dichotomy again. It's like you're lazy writing. Because you could have had her in the background, like, fuming at Cersei and then just anger snapping, right? Like her good and bad conflict, but they didn't do that.
They could have simply just gone, like, beeline towards Cersei, have her, like, try to be executed, then Cersei saying something shitty or crappy, and then she just snaps, and I would totally get that, because I'm like, okay, you go, Danny, you totally have the right.
Yeah, if there was a reason for her to blow up the city, I would love it. Well, because I love the idea of her just blowing the city up. Well, but there was nothing behind it, and that killed it for me.
Well, so
nothing in the season.
The best scene in the last episode was when Jon was visiting Tyrion in prison, and Tyrion basically walked through like everything Danny had ever did that was like like this, like killing the Masters in Astapor, the crucifying of the Masters in Meereen, like all that stuff. And he was just like, she did all these things and we cheered because they were evil people. Should we really be surprised when she did it to innocents now? And
this is in the last episode.
Yeah, this is the last episode.
No, I think the best scene is between Tyrion and Jaime.
No, I was saying the best scene in the last episode. Not in the last season, in the last episode.
Yeah, hold up. Ruji's saying no. What do you mean no? The scene where Tyrion and Jaime had like a moment and they're like crying together and they're like together is like.
Yeah, no.
You didn't think that was a good scene?
No.
Did anyone think that was a good scene?
No.
No.
What? Why?
No.
I thought that was a
Because
really good moment
Tyrion,
for
okay,
that
I
character.
love Tyrion. Let me just say that Tyrion is my favorite character in the whole
he
show.
sucks
I
in this
rooted
season.
for him to not die.
He sucks in this
Hold
season.
on. I rooted for him to die, which is why I expected him to die.
Because Game of Thrones.
Right. But he didn't die.
Nobody died.
And I was disappointed somehow.
That's not true.
But the point is that he, as good of an actor as he is, he can't cry. Like, did you notice when he found them dead? Like, he's like, and he doesn't cry. Like, he has crocodile tears. And
I wasn't paying. No, what scene are you thinking of?
Well,
you're thinking of the one where he saves Jamie, or he
Where
releases.
Jamie's like in the tied up. And he
Yeah,
lets
yeah,
him
yeah.
free.
And I think that was dumb. I think that was the stupidest thing he
What?
could have done.
Well, Jamie's betrayed him, and they've gone back and forth so many times.
Right, but I
he
just
knew
don't-
he was going to leave.
I thought
There
that
was,
was a good scene, but
there was
maybe-
nothing sentimental there about it
What?
to me.
Well, then what was the best
Because
scene?
Tyrion is
Best
being
scene in
stupid.
season 8.
I'm just gonna say that Tyrion was. I'm getting too excited. Tyrion is being stupid. Why are you going to release your brother to take care of your sister?
Oh, the reasoning I
Why?
didn't
Yes. Yes.
I didn't
Why?
care.
Exactly.
Well, that's yeah. Well, we can talk about Jamie and his sister and how Jamie completely goes back to season 1 for no reason at all.
Yep.
Well, no. So Ruji's point is, if he was saving Jamie for Jamie, that would
Yeah.
make sense. He's
If he was
saving.
like,
but-
Jamie,
right, the-
go back to Brienne right now. That's
Right,
one
like
thing.
get back north. It's not going to end well. Like if I will release you, if you promise me you'll leave, because then if he found Jamie and Cersei buried in the rubble, that would have been way worse because he would because he would have thought, oh, Jamie's safe. Now I'm just going to go find my sister, who you've hated for 7 seasons,
Someone Buzzio pointed that out, that he's like,
and then you
in
find
multiple
her.
seasons, he's
Yeah.
like telling her she sucks and she's evil.
Yep.
And then he's at the wall in episode 4, and he's like, "You're not a monster." And you're like, "Wait a second, what have you been saying like the whole show?"
Right.
Yeah.
Like the only family member he's ever liked and gotten on with is Jamie. So if he just said, "Hey Jamie, save yourself cuz everyone's going to Cersei's going to die."
Wasn't that why that was a good scene? Because
Or
they had a
even-
moment together.
No, the reason
They've
it
had
wasn't
moments
good.
together.
Did I miss
The reason-
something that was bad
no,
in that scene?
No, the reason
Yes.
Something
the
was
reason that scene wasn't good is because Tyrion was trying to tell Jamie, "Go save Cersei."
And go and live live a life together.
I forgot
That made
that's what
that made no sense. Like, why are you trying to save your sister who's
Right.
who's tried to kill you at least 3 times in this show alone?
All right, I'll
Right.
forfeit a little. I'll forfeit a little bit of a card. I forgot that. Here's the actually. This is the funny thing. This is why I can't get into Game of Thrones as much as some people, because I sometimes don't listen to what they say. I just watch. No, I'm serious. I watch it like a filmmaker. This is why Breaking Bad was such a
looking
good.
at the
Hold on.
lighting, at the angle.
No, because it's like, did I feel something during that scene?
Right.
And so sometimes I forget. Oh yeah, I should be paying attention to like.
So that you could feel something during that
Because so
scene.
many film is about show not tell, and so much of Game of Thrones is talking, and I can't keep up with it.
Oh,
it's so
especially in
much-
the finale. Especially in the
So
finale.
much talking.
Can we just talk? Okay, I'm
Yeah,
not
they
gonna get.
talked a
I'm
lot.
gonna wait until
There were long
we get
scenes.
into the finale.
Okay.
What was it, Shayne?
Oh no, I said you were right. I said the finale episode, there were just really long scenes and they talked a lot. And just for me, like same thing kind of as Luke, I watch things more from like a film perspective. So I was just more looking at like the visuals. Like the whole time I just kept saying to the people I was at the watch party with, I'm like, this set, I'm like, do you see these costumes? I'm like, I need
Dude,
to talk to
yes.
the set designer. Can I work with you on a project? I have ideas. So,
Shayne is like, I need to study for my show.
yeah, exactly, right. Like
We'll
I
say
don't know,
the
like the
production quality's been consistent across all
Well,
the
yeah,
seasons.
yeah, I
except
mean,
for
oh,
a few
yeah.
small.
Yeah,
the
that's for sure.
the dragon behind Danny was.
yes,
awesome.
I was
was
about to
epic.
say that. That shot was so good. I had
The
no idea what
shot-
it symbolized, but ooh.
Oh my
Devil's
god,
Death.
that was amazing when the wings expanded. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I immediately was like, that's the best shot of the whole
Yep.
series.
And then it was like, what a garbage episode.
Yeah, and also another shot that I really liked was when John went to go see Danny, and you just see it from afar. They don't do a close up
Yeah,
of
that was
the
awesome.
dragon's face. You see how big the dragon is compared to tiny John.
Like the amount of
Yeah.
bravery it takes to
Yeah.
walk up to do what he's going to do. Spoilers.
Can I just say there is no excuse from here on out for bad dragons in movies and TV shows.
No.
Oh, for
No,
sure.
they raised the,
The
bar.
bar's been set.
Like
That
like
drag-
after
yeah.
like after Game of Thrones dragons and Smaug and the Hobbit, like there is no excuse anymore.
Except, you want me to ruin that? Except the dragons can apparently get shot through the throat with a tiny little arrow
It was
from
not tiny.
miles and miles away.
There's nothing
Okay,
tiny
that's
about that.
Seeing the ships.
They had a blind spot.
That's fair.
There are parts of that
Yep.
I agree with. I can agree with, like, I think dragons should have a weakness like that because otherwise it's Superman without kryptonite. However, to your point, Euron Greyjoy is like the ultimate no-scope sniper of all time.
And then later,
Yes.
no one can hit the dragon, and there's thousands
They
of
weren't even
ships.
shooting.
And it's the
I know.
biggest one. It's the
I know.
biggest one.
I know.
Like, how
It
do
was
you
point blank
miss?
range. How do you miss? Yeah, exactly. They were on swivels. They all were facing the same direction. Not the dragon.
Actually, you know what it kind of was like? It was like everyone on the ship was like, "Dope, we can't aim upwards," and it's like, it's a dragon. It flies.
Can we just now?
What did you expect was gonna happen?
It's the size
Now
of
that you
four
mention
buses.
I know we're going back and forth, and there's no like real timeline here. But can we just go back to the battle? I think it was the 3rd episode, right? Can we just go back to the battle really quick
Second? Third?
and just agree that their CGI budget was just like absolutely nothing. Like Ghost disappears in the middle of the night. We don't see him again, and when he appears, he has no ear. And then the dragon, at some point,
Ghost with no dragon glass, to do anything is fighting.
Yeah, but he survived somehow. We never saw him
Let
again.
somebody else notice that.
And
It's like,
then
what?
I know. I thought he died. And then my friends told me that they saw him in the preview. So I was like, well, thank God. And then the dragon at some point loses like the air, and John's dragon, he has to like fall to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
John gets off the dragon just runs away. We never see that dragon again. Now we only see Dany and her dragon.
Yep.
We never see the dragon again.
Yeah, you're right about what. Oh, they didn't even. Oh my god.
I thought that dragon was dead because the only
dragon
dragons
was
that we
smart.
ended up, the only dragon that we saw again was the dead one, the White Walkers or the Night Kings.
Yeah.
So the 2 dragons are still alive. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Well, they couldn't
one
kill
of
the
them-
one during the
There
last
was,
battle.
there was one dragon that had a bunch of like circles in its wings, and I think that was the one that got killed by Euron. Euron, I don't know how you say his name.
Euron.
Euron Greyjoy.
Yeah, Euron.
Are you talking about the one in the last battle?
Yeah, and the one in the last battle where they tried to save John, I think, and then a bunch of White Walkers, or a bunch of whites, because that's what they're called. A bunch of whites just jumped on him and then started like eating his wings.
That's a little offensive.
Oh.
You know,
Okay.
what can I
Well,
say?
I don't know.
Bunch of whites.
What's a whites?
I'm so
Anything
sick of
but-
whites. I'm so sick of whites ganging up on everybody. Oh, whites.
But yeah, then when we see him, I think that was the dragon that died. He had a bunch of holes. It's like, this dragon's gonna be useless eventually, so we're just gonna kill him off.
Yeah, just shoot him. It's fine.
I know. It's
They
just
got
like,
mighty spears.
Yeah.
So
it's even all that stuff it's far fetched, but I don't mind it that much. Like the fact that they shot a dragon out of the sky and like nobody saw the ships, and
Right.
you're kind of like,
just
how did this happen? And then as soon as it happens, the next episode, Dany comes in and just blows all the ships up just easy, and it's like what? I thought these things were supposed to be deadly, and it's like, oh, they're not deadly. They're all gone now. All the scorpions are gone. You're like,
Yeah.
And they were on every tower wall.
I
They were
know, and
freaking-
they're just all gone. It's like it was kind of like this. This is the threat to the dragon. Oh,
Also
they're all gone.
acknowledged they forgot that, they just did the plot hole like, oh yeah, by the way, you had the original dragon, take that arrow and shove it through his eye from long range. These can kill anything. It's just like, well, when the plot demands it. But until then,
Right.
it's like, come on.
And then how did they make so many scorpions in so little time? Like how many months and weeks had passed?
I don't know.
Well, that is something-
They time traveled. They jumped across space and time, so who knows how long it actually is.
that is something about the show that they couldn't do accurately is
No.
is the
It's time. Yeah.
3
Because they're
months
like,
time.
oh, it's going to take us 2 weeks to get to King's Landing. And then
Oh yeah,
if you think about it, it's going to be like 3 months. Mm-hmm. It makes
if they're lucky.
Yeah, if they're lucky.
So
if
how
they
do you
don't
feed the
die
dragon
on the
3
way.
months?
For real. I
So
don't
How
know.
do you feed that thing in the ocean?
Let's
Sorry.
deconstruct some of this stuff. That's something people would talk about. Like if like silly things like, well, when did they feed the? I'm like, I don't care about that. Doesn't matter.
No, I know it doesn't
I don't.
matter.
I
It's
don't
just a
find
thought.
it to be a big part of the story. But what I do find weird is like when I don't understand the motivation. So like I
Right.
said, Dany blowing up the city. Even I like I said, if they had shown the motivation, I would have been fine with it. But I didn't feel it. I didn't see the motivation. Same with all all the quote unquote good guys going insane and just murdering everyone and raping women. And you're like, what? Well, how did this happen? Everyone just went insane. They're like, the dragon's burning up the city. Time to rape some people. You know what I mean?
Like, here. So the argument for the soldiers is Grey Worm lost Missandei, who was the love of his life, and so he goes crazy, and the Unsullied follow. And then the Northerners say, "Oh, we're gonna go kill some Lannisters because we hate them. Let's go." But I agree with you. It's like
they murder innocent. It's all innocent people, though.
I agree. No, I agree. It's super stretched and like super like not. And speaking of motivations. Going back to the last battle again, did their explanation as to why Bran was like the number one target of the Night King is the most ridiculous reason I've ever heard in my life.
They actually explained it?
Yeah, I still don't know. I still don't know what.
So the reasoning.
Bran can just. I hate that guy. He does nothing.
So he should have died when he. No, I'm just kidding. He should have died when he fell off the tower.
So here's what they said. Bran, the Night King was targeting Bran because he's the memory of all people, and the Night King wants to snuff people out.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm like, that's the most stupid
thing I've
He's
ever
doing
heard.
just fine.
Ever.
Like the Night King is doing just fine without Bran and snuffing everyone out.
Because they had built up the Three-Eyed Raven, and I'm pretty sure the Three-Eyed Raven is supposed to be in the books. Like the magical powerhouse of the Children of the Forest.
He could warg into a dragon. Are you like he could literally take over he could probably take over that entire army, and you're telling me that's the motivation?
Right. And they did nothing with him. He literally sat there watching Theon die like, Theon, you're a good man. I'm sorry about what's about to happen to you.
He's like,
but you have to go.
I like when he's like, what does he say? I don't want anymore. Or something?
I don't want anymore.
And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'll be king.
Why do you think I came all this way? Because I want to be king.
So here's you guys want to know something funny? Ruji keeps trying to hold my hand, and I keep pulling away from her because I'm like, no, I gotta talk with my hands. Hold on.
I gotta talk with my hands.
I do. I have to move my
this
hands.
is my boyfriend, folks.
Sorry. I gotta move.
If you're not a hand talker, I feel bad for you.
I can't do
Actually,
it.
I'm a hand talker too. I have them in my pockets though.
So Bran, hate that guy. No one cares. Everyone hates him. He does nothing. He sits in a chair. Let's make him king.
Here's
the most
the thing.
ridiculous reason to make somebody a king of all time.
Right. I mean, hold on. Tyrion had a point. Like, he's literally the most powerful one out of all of them. So my issue was he's exactly the most powerful one out of all of you. Because Dany without her dragons is nothing. And the dragon doesn't do anything without Dany's thing. So you put them apart and they're nothing. So my thing is, why didn't you use him more? One. And two, why didn't you give a better explanation as to why he wanted you? How about the fact like, oh, he can see into who I really am and he's going to ruin us, right? Like he can actually kill us all. How?
Because he just said the one-eyed raven. He didn't. That doesn't mean anything except to like 5 people, right? From my understanding.
Yeah.
And he's the most powerful one among us.
Raven.
How?
One-eyed.
Yeah.
I know, it's like
he has 3 eyes.
So it's like he can turn into a
2 working
bird.
legs, so he's a one-eyed
And it's
raven.
like what can a bird do? She has a dragon.
Can we just ignore? Yeah, there has been almost 10 years of Bran going through so much crap. For him to just sit on a chair and be like, yeah, I'll be king. No, you went through so much. How about you do something better with your storyline and say, no, I can't be king. I have to do something better, right? I have to protect everybody else. There's other things coming. I can see them. But he didn't do that. And he's like, oh yeah, all this time I just wanted to win the Game of Thrones. And all this time I just went away because I wanted to do it. Haha, Jamie.
Can we talk about the throne for a second too? The dragon nukes the throne for no reason.
No, for good reason. The dragon said, if she can't have the throne, then no one can have the throne.
So this is like a nitpicky thing.
That's what I got from it.
But like, you can't. The dragon doesn't know what a throne is.
Hold on. They communicate. The whole point of her being the mother of dragons is that they understand each other.
As she's dying, she's like sending a thought.
No, they said that. So he thought.
It's
right.
Here's
the thing. Jon is a Targaryen. So the dragon can't hurt. Like he finds some sort of loyalty. He's like, I can't hurt you. You're part of my blood, right? I can't hurt you, and you just killed her because you wanted to sit on the throne. Screw that. I'm gonna burn down this throne, and now nobody can have it. Right.
Well,
and I'm gonna take her, and I'm gonna mourn by myself.
Well,
So
technically, Jon doesn't have the blood of the dragon because he can be hurt by fire.
What?
Can he?
Annie?
Yeah. First season when he fought the white that came after Lord Commander Mormont, he grabbed a torch by the hand and burned himself.
Yeah, actually,
the fire
yeah,
at
I was
him.
going to say, because he is running away from the dragon in the other episode, too.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I was hoping that the dragon would just like throw flames at him so that we can see that he doesn't burn, but I didn't remember that detail.
Yeah, I know.
I guess it'd be
That was
ash now.
disappointing. It would have been nice. But the other thing, too, I was trying to explain to somebody, this is the way the whole season, the whole last episode. If someone walked up to me at work and said, "You didn't see the episode, let me just tell you what happens. Dany gets killed by Jon, the dragon burns the throne, and then Bran becomes king, and then they all go off and do their thing."
There was literally five scenes.
If they said that, that is the same amount of emotion I felt watching it.
Yep.
I just was like, it felt like the episode was just like, by the way, this is what happens to them, this is what happens to them, and this is where they go. Bye. That's all. Nothing. I felt nothing the whole episode.
Did
No,
any?
I'll agree with you, but the only time
Except
I felt
for the
emotional was
dragon
when Jon
behind
had to
Dany.
kill.
That's the only thing I felt.
Can I just say that that's the only part where I actually cried when the dragon got so upset about his mom? That was a dragon, and a fictional, not even realistic character made me cry. Everybody else, I was like, I hate all of you.
Screw Game of Thrones. Screw HBO.
I know.
God.
It's so disappointing to have a show like this end.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a show that everyone just loves, and it just.
So that was
If
my
it had a
issue with
satisfying ending, it would be one of the greatest TV shows of all time. I still think it's above 99% of what's out there. I'm going to rewatch it again, even the last season.
Right.
I'm still going to be like, this is amazing. Okay,
think
I'll
so.
give it the last season. Whatever. Take 10 points
just
off.
not quite as good as
But-
Breaking Bad.
I mean,
Well,
you can
see,
rewatch it all, and maybe the end will make sense if you. Because here's the thing: we waited a
That's
whole
true.
year. It's been a whole year of us forgetting what these characters have gone through.
Oh, I think
if you
it's
watch
worse.
it all back together,
it's worse.
it might make sense, right?
No, because
see,
there's
I don't
so
know.
many.
I haven't
I've seen
seen it.
so many
More
people
sense, yeah.
pointing back to earlier episodes of people saying and doing things, and it does. I mean, okay, first of all, let me start with this.
Yeah.
Good point, but I don't think so because like there's so many people pointing out the issues with how like Dany
Right.
for so many episodes. Like, but I don't kill innocent people. But we will never hurt innocent people. And like, but innocent. And there's like 5 points throughout the different seasons where she says that.
She's too
and then all of a
proud.
sudden she's just like, nuke them all.
Yeah. She was too proud. At the end, towards the end of it all, she got
But I didn't
way
feel
too
it.
proud
I
because
didn't
it's like,
feel it,
oh,
though.
you think I won't kill them, even though I've said it 100 times? Watch what I'll do
Wouldn't
now.
it be great if you had
Rule
someone
50.
saying that? Imagine if you had that. Who's that wacky guy who had sex with
The show,
Cersei?
don't tell, remember?
What's the guy? The wacky guy who tries to kill Jaime, who does kind of kill Jaime.
Euron Greyjoy.
Euron.
Euron.
Imagine if Euron is like on a tower and he's pointing at Dany, laughing at her like, "Ha ha ha! We gave up. You can't kill us now. You can't do it."
And other people
like
start
making
laughing.
fun of her, and then
Hey,
people in the
can't
crowd start
I?
laughing too or snickering.
yeah, 100%.
And he's like jesting at her, and then that's when she's like, "Screw it!" And
Bye.
she blows them all up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
would-
would
they
have
don't-
cheered.
It's
Yeah, me
like
too.
something like that to show she's just like, this city is trash and needs to go.
Right, I think they're trying to show that she was intimidated by Jon and she was losing the respect that she.
They
She's losing her
They
mind.
did start to show that, but it wasn't.
Right.
It didn't
It
go
wasn't enough.
far.
I agree. But
It
I'm
didn't
saying
get fleshed out.
They pointed in the right direction, but I agree with you. They didn't flush it out.
Yeah.
They didn't give her an actual reason. They just said, "Here's the hint. Take it what it is. Move on."
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
it's like-
someone said Danny is like Anakin in
Oh my
Star
gosh, she
Wars,
is.
where he basically is
I
like,
can't date my girlfriend, so I'm going to kill you all. Yeah.
well, yeah, he cuts. He's like, he's like, what's his name? Palpatine. He's like, he needs to go to trial, whatever. He cuts the hand off of Mace Windu, and he's like, let's go murder all the children. You're like, what happened? Oh, it just completely flips, and there's no like, oh, whoa,
Right.
that was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So you're evil now for no reason? Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
Vader.
I don't think I could go back and rewatch anything of this because I would literally be having this feeling in the pit of my stomach like none of this matters.
No.
None of it matters. Like, none of this is going to amount to anything because of the way that the show ended.
No, I mean, most of the
that's a good
show, the underlying thing, and this is what got me, okay, because I was the first one, like, screaming and just, like, clapping and just having the best party when Arya just came out of nowhere and killed the Night King. But there was an underlying just direction of, like, all of this is trash. And we're all going towards the White Walkers. Like, that is what matters. At the end of every episode, something happened with the White Walkers. Like, they're getting closer, they're growing. You know, we understand who this guy is now. We understand why the Night King is the Night King now. We understand that Bran, he is like the complete opposite of the Night King, so he's a threat. So, you know, my thing is like, oh, he was gonna kill Bran because he knows too much and he can't stay alive. So I thought it was that. And maybe they were going to communicate, you know, like telepathically or something, or we were going to see something about him and maybe like feel bad. Yeah, or not even a fight, just like, hey, finally we meet. Or like, this is who I am. This is what I'm trying to do with the whole world. And then they like try to like communicate.
Yeah, someone said, like, imagine at the end of the episode, Night King walks in, he's walking towards Bran, like, oh man, he's going to kill Bran. He's going to kill Bran. And then they just stop, Night King nods, and Bran nods. Episode's over. You're like, oh man, what? Like something. But then it's like, no, he's dead. There was nothing. They just were going to kill him for no reason.
Had they done something?
There's kind of like this build up.
Wow, would have been amazing.
Yeah, there's this build up and then it's just nothing.
Because remember, Bran can travel to the past. So what if the Night King also has kind of like in my head, I was like, what if the Night King also had like a power kind of like similar to Bran because of the magic? And they were always talking or they were always communicating and then something just random. And then Arya comes out of nowhere and kills him. I was like, yeah. But
they have a connection, so
did you like that?
So you're like, yeah.
Did I like Arya coming out of nowhere?
Yeah. So did you like the fact that
I loved every part of that.
That was, in fact, it was awesome. But
I didn't
also
notice
was
any
like,
plot holes. Sorry. I didn't notice any plot holes until after the show was over. Because while I was watching it, I could not take my eyes off the screen. And afterwards, I was like, what just happened? I have so much adrenaline. What?
But it's like, it was that was so cool. And then you realize all this stuff that's not going to happen now.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, so they're done.
I was like, there was only 3 episodes?
That was supposed to be the long night, the winter, the hard fought summers and the death and the war. It all was leading up to this. Mm-hmm. And now it's summer again. Like,
you're like, winter is, it's done.
It's over. Wow.
Okay, so I asked it because my favorite character was Jon Snow. Mm-hmm. And I feel like his character got absolutely shat on.
Oh, he did.
Because he's a moron.
100. No, because he was whipped.
My queen.
So here's
a little taste of it, and that was that.
Well, no, and I'm gonna and this to me goes back to the really funky
taste
writing.
Of the aunt, and then just all right.
Oh God. Oh.
Well, it was the because his whole character arc was 2 things: fighting the Night King and being a natural leader that everybody flocks to and not wanting it, but assuming it for the greater good. And both of those plot lines got dropped from his character in the last season. Like, okay, as epic as Arya, like, one-shotting the Night King, I thought, to me, it would have been way more epic if the Night King and Jon had a duel and Jon wins. Like that to me. And I don't care. Jon Snow can go north of the wall and everything that happens in the end can happen. That would have been the conclusion of Jon's character. Like that could have been it. And we all would have sat back and said, Jon like did his thing. This is why the Lord of Light brought him back 2 seasons ago. Like, done. Well, they dropped that and they gave it to Arya for a super like forced reason. I saw you closing many eyes, including blue eyes. Like the Night King is the only one who has blue eyes in the entire world. I'm like, that is the most ridiculous reason.
Well, there just was no. So let me say this. Okay, you guys, you've seen Breaking Bad. Jordan and Josh, have you guys seen Breaking Bad?
Finished the whole series.
Okay, Shayne, did you see Breaking Bad?
No, only because
Nobody watches the show, and it's so good.
But no. I know it's
I
good,
watched
but
the
it's-
season 2, and then I got bored. Even though Game of
No.
Thrones takes like 15 episodes,
No, it doesn't.
it's so Game of Thrones is so
the
slow.
first episode is great.
Oh, I don't understand that. No one watches it. But all I was gonna say is that the Game of Thrones ending. I won't spoil it, even though you're too late. But like, I won't spoil it. It's kind of predictable. Like it's
Yeah.
it doesn't take you by surprise and do something. But it's very satisfying. You're like, all the things I needed to see, I got to see. With Game of Thrones, it's one of those shows where and Dexter too, where they always want to do something that nobody expects, and they got it to that point where it ruined it because you're like, you guys tried so hard to do something we didn't expect
Right.
that it doesn't make sense,
Right.
and it ruined the show.
Yeah.
They're like,
I don't know
no
about
one
you
will
guys.
see her go insane and blow up the city. I'm like, yeah, so now it doesn't make any sense that she blew up the city.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's
I mean, I was really hoping Arya was going to kill Cersei.
Yes. Oh my god.
Because that's what I was really hoping for.
Or
'cause that was the
Jaime.
and
main
then
plot
she
line.
got
Or Jaime, yeah.
like coward. Oh my god.
Why didn't
so here's
Jamie?
my thing.
If only I see. You know how Jamie said, it'd be great
Jaime
to
and
die
Cersei.
in the arms of the woman you love, right?
Right. Oh, that would have been.
He could have done that, but imagine if he killed her first. That would have been so much better.
Because she took his
He
face.
kills
That's what would have been amazing.
he stabs her, and then the rocks fall and kill them.
Like
It's
her,
like he
No, no,
kills
better,
her, but
better.
they both die together.
her prophecy was you're gonna die at your brother's hand, and he's gonna be at your younger brother's
really?
hand. That was her prophecy.
What?
Okay, let's not even go down the
Like
prophecy
your
road
younger
because
brother is going to kill you, and
like
Wait,
sorry, go ahead.
but
nobody
Arya,
killed. She just died.
but Arya when she was young, and this is why I really like
Her
the fact
younger
that.
brother's the Earth.
What are
'Cause
you
the
talking
rocks
about?
killed her.
Well, not necessarily. Well, I know that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm mad.
Rocks killed her.
I wanted Jaime to kill her because everybody thought it was Tyrion who was going to kill her. Which technically, Tyrion was the one who let Jaime go, and then that's why they did whatever they did. The point is, I didn't like that ending at all because it went against her prophecy, and had they paid attention to the details, they would have done that. But they didn't do that.
There's nothing with the
okay, we
crossbow
can't-
happened.
but we
That
can't
crossbow got hold up. That crossbow got introduced. Nothing happened.
No,
with
nothing
that.
was going to happen with that crossbow.
then-
Bronn
and
loves
then-
him too much. Like,
Ugh,
go on.
what a disappointment.
I know.
I wanted Tyrion to die by the crossbow,
Hold
That
on.
would
and
have been
then
epic.
I
Yeah.
wanted someone to kill Cersei,
Tyrion was not
and
going
then
to
they're
die
like,
by
"No,
a
we want you to
crossbow.
feel bad for Cersei now." And then she gets smushed.
I never felt
Right.
that for her. I was like, thank God.
So
I
frustrating.
wanted her
Bye-bye.
to die slowly, not by rocks.
Arya,
Right.
it made sense for me that Arya killed the Night King because that was said way earlier on in the seasons when she was way
Right.
younger. And so I was
Right,
like,
they
for
set it
that
up
to
in-
come to light, I was like, oh my God, she did say this, and that's wow. Okay, and then it happened. I do agree they shit all over John's character. But if we go back to what we were talking about earlier, where, what did the author tell the writers? I honestly think that at that point, he didn't really know what he was going to write. And I could bet money that all he said was, well, listen, this is what the characters have to do. And I still haven't put in the details. So John has to kill Dany. Arya has to kill the Night King because the Red Witch said that. And Bran, I'm either going to make him the next Night King or he's going to be just the next king. So just make him a king. So I'm like, somebody please give me something. And I don't know where they took all of that. I really don't. Because supposedly they filmed 5 finales, and if one leaked,
was that
and this
true?
one leaked, by the way. This was all
I
over the
believe
internet
it.
since
I bet
November.
I think they lied.
No, they totally lied.
They
Because
usually
had they
do,
done
a
that,
lot of people do that for finales.
yeah, they leaked this
Well,
one.
if they filmed multiple finales,
And they
I
would've-
feel like
they
they
would've
picked the
changed
wrong
it.
one.
Yeah, they would have changed it. And what was
This
that
one was
about?
not good.
What was that about? Like on the semi-finale, the Arya getting on a white horse, which represented something, biblical. She gets on the white horse, and then next time we see her, where's the horse?
Yeah, she just rides off. And
I
you're
thought
like,
she went
oh.
home. I thought she was going somewhere.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just such
She
a
had a purpose,
setup.
and then she was just at the gate without a horse.
Just
Like,
She's
what?
like, oh, well.
everything up for nothing.
I know.
that's like
Because all the setups are great. It's like a setup to a joke.
It's maddening.
It's like all the setups were perfect, and there's no punchline.
Yep.
And you're like,
It's like
where's
Kevin
the?
Hart without a punchline. It's like,
Yeah, I wanted the fun. Where's the part to laugh?
They gave
Well,
up
see-
so bad that they had Starbucks on the set. That's how badly they gave up.
Yeah, then someone
They're like, "Oh, screw it."
someone pointed out the Starbucks, and they were like, "Fine, we've had enough of you fans. How about this
Did you-
ending?"
well,
Did
like
you see wait, just about the Starbucks thing really fast? They have Game of Thrones Starbucks pops, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
That's funny.
Also, really fast.
That is amazing.
Really
What do they
fast. How the the pops.
Those pop figures,
The pop figures,
Hold
like
up.
the.
Go ahead, Shane.
the vinyl ones.
Well, he's explaining it.
What is this?
It's a bobblehead that's made of vinyl, and they're all over the place from different.
Oh
universes,
yeah, I know what you're
characters.
talking about.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So Game
the
of Thrones.
pops.
After that episode, Game of Thrones made a Starbucks branded pop and sold it. It's real. I'm like, wow,
Oh, shush.
That's
that marketing.
That was great. They were like they turned something negative into a positive.
Yeah.
That was good.
Somebody was talking about the setups. Like that should be like the subtitle of this whole season, like the death of setups.
we were set up.
I don't like
This
that
is
about
literally a trap.
shows.
Well, because
We're
they
set up.
well,
Oh,
so
go
like
ahead, Josh.
to your point, they set you up for so many like satisfying endings. They set you up for Jaime and Brienne finally getting together and like going off somewhere. They set up Arya killing Cersei. They set up Jon killing both Dany and the Night King. And they just said, nope, we're going to go throw this everywhere and have fun trying to pick up the pieces.
Right.
And by fun, we mean give you the most boring episode where the only one talking is Tyrion ever.
I think
I know.
I think
the whole episode.
I think the funniest review I've heard, they were talking about Tyrion when he gives his whole, you know what's stronger than anything else
Right.
is the story. And he goes, and who has the strongest story but Bran? And the reviewer goes,
Bran.
literally everyone else has a stronger
Yeah.
story.
Right, literally everybody else.
Everyone was confused. They were like, "What, Bran?"
They're like,
wait,
and then
huh?
it's like everyone's like, ha.
So
Wait, for real?
can we just recap for a second? This is what Bran did. He killed a boy in the woods, basically got him killed. He killed Hodor, the only one protecting him.
Hodor.
He sent the other one to get to just leave him, the babysitter, the one that was
Mira or whatever her name was.
yeah, whatever her name was. And then she died eventually, or something happened to her. And then she basically stole John's place and did nothing for anybody else ever.
Don't forget he mentally handicapped Hodor too.
Yeah,
To
he
get to that
mentally
point,
handicapped
yeah.
and then killed him.
Oof.
And by the way, it wasn't
Such a douche.
it wasn't until this last episode that I finally got a Hodor door stopper.
Yes.
I appreciate the respect.
Oh
Hold
man.
the door.
I know, I love it.
I'm gonna have to go on. I'm gonna have to go and see if I can if there's like a Hodor thing on Zedge.
I got
Someone
very
calls me
lucky.
Hodor.
Mine was free. I got very lucky. A friend of mine, he has like a 3D printer, and he printed one out, and he's like, what do you think about this? Do you like this red or yellow? And I'm like, oh my god, give me the yellow one.
That's amazing.
What?
I think. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oof. I'm trying to think through these episodes, and I'm trying to think. It was a big mess, but what was the best scene?
Can I tell you one of my favorites here?
Yes.
The scene when they're all in the castle right before they attack, and they're singing and getting drunk and contemplating their deaths within hours or minutes, and they're just bonding and relaxing because you get to see the characters kind of turn off their personas for a little bit.
Well, what's
Just
her
be
name
people.
getting knighted?
I guess.
Yes, Brienne getting knighted. That was incredible. I was like, okay, that.
Yeah, I did like that
Fantastic.
part. That part of her getting knighted. But I do think
Yeah.
that was just a filler.
I agree with you. It definitely was.
It's
Yeah.
like, let's show them all getting drunk and not show Dany about to go insane.
I guess no, I think but I think you're also right because we never did see all those characters that were all in the same room were all against each other. And for the first time they were just like, okay, listen, we're just human and we're trying not to die. Like it really doesn't matter whether you're better than me or not.
It was fine. Like it did feel like a filler, but I would have been fine with it if everything else delivered.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's the fact that nothing delivered that I'm like, yeah, screw this time I had to wait for this bonding stuff. Virgie, what was your
Well, it's
favorite
like
scene?
it's like the Saving Private Ryan moment they have before the big final battle. But those people died, so it paid off.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, Ruji was shaking her head saying that's not the best scene. So what is the
I didn't
best
well,
scene?
I'm
It's one of my
sorry.
favorites.
I was shaking. Yeah, I was shaking my head because I'm like, no, I always thought of that scene as a filler, and I just wanted to fast forward through it, and I couldn't.
That's fair.
There was but ultimately, I think you make a good point. I Okay, my favorite scene, if I'm talking about like the one that got me like the most excited, like I was losing my mind, was when Arya came out of nowhere. But I genuinely did forget she just ran off somewhere. Which, by the way, I honestly thought they were just like in a closed room. I don't know where the hell she got out of, but
Somewhere by the library, right?
somewhere
On the other side of the castle.
right. But that scene where she came out of nowhere, that excited me the most. But if we're talking about like what was the best scene, I really do think that the part where John finds out who he is, because Sam tells him, they did it so well, because he was in the crypt, he was looking back at his family, he saw his aunt, which is his mom, and just kind of like was appreciating her, and then moved on to Ned Stark, and then that's when Sam told him, and the whole time that Sam is talking, you just see John's face and his reaction, and he's like, no, you're lying. And then how Sam handled that was really great. And the points that he brought up, he's like, you bent the knee for her, you know, you gave up your position for her. Would she do the same if she knows who you are? And then that was just so good. It was so good executed. Like, I just really like that.
That was the one point where I think you could see John go, if she goes in this direction, I have to kill her, right? And then that conversation with Tyrion and Varys just kind of like confirmed it. Like, you have to do this. I have
a name for John in the last season, which is not a very nice name, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'll tell it to you guys after we're not recording.
You're gonna have to.
I was about to say you're gonna have to share it for a viewing audience.
Yeah, right.
No, it's too much of a bad word.
All right.
Rapidly, then.
You're technically allowed to say whatever you want on this podcast. Just know it's being recorded.
Right.
That's actually what I always tell people. I'm like, you can say whatever you want. Just know it's going to be recording.
I don't want to get judged by your.
Okay. My pastor friend.
No. By your family.
So I'm trying to think of like what scene I thought was the best. Like there's scenes that I liked, but around them is what ruins them. Mm-hmm. So I did like Arya jumping in and killing the Night King.
I love that.
But I didn't like what went along with that. The fact that it's like, that means the Night King's over. Mm-hmm. That means the White Walkers are gone.
Yeah.
That means there's no twist.
Yeah.
But it was a cool scene.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Same with Dany nuking the city. Mm-hmm. I really like that idea, but I don't like the way it was built up to it and the way it was done.
Yeah.
I love the idea.
Is that your favorite scene when she nuked the city?
It's my favorite scene in concept. I love the idea of everyone watching her going a little bit nuts, and then something happens and it just levels the city, and everyone watching is like, oh man, she went insane. I love that idea.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that it's not quite done right that ruins it. And that's like the worst movies and TV shows are when I know it was there. It's like when there's a great joke and someone butchers it. And you're like, no, that was such a good, that could have been great. And you ruined it. And so that kills me. And so like most of
the whole last season.
Yeah. Like most shows that people really like or even movies are painful for me to watch, because in my head I'm going, if they had done this a little different, I would be losing my mind at how good it is. Mm-hmm. But because of how they did it, it's Captain America, the first Captain America, I think could have been insanely good, but the way they do it,
it's so bad.
Yes,
it's horrible.
Are you talking about Captain America or Marvel?
Captain America.
Okay.
The first Captain America.
I agree with
the
that
story and like the idea.
Preach about it.
Him like getting frozen and waking up later, and like him falling in love with this woman, like all these things, him falling on the grenade, all that is good in concept, and they butchered it. It's not done well, and that's the way I feel about a lot of these scenes, where it's like even the scenes were done well, but the concept around it, the writing around it, doesn't sell it.
It was just
unlike Captain America himself, they didn't chisel that story out of the ice very well.
No.
Oh, Shayne. Did you have a favorite scene out of what you saw? I think you said it earlier, actually.
I think so too.
The dragon with the wings.
Yeah, I really liked that, and yeah, I don't know. It was more like just wide angle shots that I really liked, but like scene wise, from like at least the finale episode, there was nothing that really. Well, I kind of liked actually when. I don't know the character's name. Peter Dinklage's character. I kind of liked when he found the queen and his brother, right? I believe. Well, that's his sister too. When he found them, I kind of like that scene. I know what you mean by like the not the fake crying, but the no tears. But I think I was okay with that because I looked at it as you're like emotionally exhausted from all the stuff that just happened and all the stuff that he went through, with her. And I believe that, he had told her, don't kill these people, right? And then she killed those people.
Yeah.
That's what happened, basically, yeah. So I can understand being, like, emotionally exhausted. It's like, okay, great. And this also happened. My siblings are dead. So I can kind of understand there not being any tears because you're just over it, I think, at that point.
Yeah, you have nothing left. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow.
Josh, what about you? Did you have a favorite scene?
So my favorite scene was my favorite scenes throughout the entire show have been with Tyrion and Varys because their dynamic is so awesome.
Yes.
I really enjoyed, I think it was episode 5 when Varys has just told Dany, hey, you're making a mistake by wanting to nuke the city. And she says, it's my destiny to rid the world of tyrants. And then it's Varys and Tyrion in the throne room on Dragonstone talking about it. That was my favorite scene because Varys was just... and this is the thing. Varys was probably the most consistent character...
Oh, for sure.
In the entire last
only
season.
One.
Yeah. And this... okay, I'm going to springboard off of this, okay? What did Dany do to make Tyrion and Jon so loyal to her? I understand that Jon is in love with her and, love is the death of duty. Love that line in the last episode, by the way. That was good.
Which line?
But what did she do to make Tyrion so, enamored with her? What? This dude has had no problems calling off tyranny.
She is my queen.
Oh,
she kills everyone.
gracious,
She is my... Well,
queen.
I might have to kill her.
Well, it's like so Tyrion had no problem calling out the BS of his dad, his sister, his nephew, his brother, everyone. But then this woman, who he's only known for a couple months tops, he's so loyal to her that even to the end, Grey Worm, this is the wheel that we're supposed to break. And, we must do this for her, even though she's dead. I'm like, why are you still loyal to her? Why are you still loyal?
I think I think he saw her as a kid, where it's like, I got to protect her. I'm older than her. I know better than her. I know this kingdom better than her. As her hand, it's my job to guide her because her dad's not in the picture. And why not me? I'm the smartest one, right? But he made such stupid decisions.
He was
for
before.
Someone who was so smart.
He used to be smart.
He made really stupid decisions thinking of his family that never really cared for him.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
I think that was the motivation for his character the whole time was save King's Landing, save my family. Don't care about anything else. Save him.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a kingdom that literally belittled you. Literally belittled you.
Literally belittled him.
So it's like, why?
I think he was belittled first, and then they just acknowledged
it. But
it.
They didn't. They made fun of you. They spit on you. Your dad abused you. Your sister wanted to kill you. Your sister thought you murdered her children. You wanted to murder her children. The only one there that was kind of a friend to you was Jaime, and even then he still screwed you over to have sex with his sister. So it's like, why are you saving this land? Just be like, yeah, kill them all, and then we'll take over them. I don't understand where this moral compass of yours came in when all you were was a drunk who had sex with hookers. I don't understand where this moral compass came in.
Best character.
I know.
See, I would argue that his moral compass has always been there for the common people like Varys, but not his family.
Yeah.
And that's the part where it came in weird, where it's like, why are you trying to save your sister who is the biggest
narcissist?
Right.
Yeah, why? What is this, I don't know.
You're right. He his moral compass started developing when he met Varys, and Varys was like, we have to protect the realm. It's not just about you or me. It's about the greater. It's about the future. It's about the people's children's children. What are they going to be?
Well, and that's the other thing too. His character was so built up to be so smart for 6 seasons, and then he became a dope.
Yep.
Like
So
literally,
many bad
literally
decisions.
became a dope. And that was the thing. Like watching the show, and this is kind of the beauty of George R. R. Martin's writing. So Tywin Lannister, who is the biggest, badass of the entire show, he has 3 kids, and his 3 kids inherit one of his traits, right? So Jaime's the warrior, Cersei is the
smart one.
cold-hearted one. Is the cold-hearted one, right? Who doesn't care. And Tyrion's supposed to be the smart one. Tyrion's supposed to be the brilliant politician guy. That goes away. Like right away.
Yeah.
Season 8.
Yeah, not even season 8. Honestly, season 7
Yes.
when he was
Yeah.
the minute he started with her, the minute he's like, "Oh, she saved everybody. I
He
must
was
be with you."
He did okay in season 7. He underestimated the people he didn't know. Because you
Yeah.
remember, Marine was doing pretty well under Tyrion, and then the Masters attacked.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But I agree with you. Like his mental prowess definitely took a dip in season 7, and then now
and then just
it's-
went downhill after that.
Which character was the worst in this season?
in this season.
Either acting or just character wise.
No,
Oh, what?
I can tell you my least favorite character.
we have to
Bran.
have. We should have. Hold on. Actually, yeah.
Like wait,
First,
Josh
favorite and least.
Ruji and me and Shayne on 3, okay? So 1, 2, 3, go, okay? 1, 2, 3, Bran.
Bran.
Shane says
Well,
something.
I don't have an opinion on the worst character. I don't know them that well.
I
just
honestly think he was
boring.
the worst character.
Well, Bran's the
my
worst
thing about
character.
Bran, okay. So my thing about Bran is I've seen all the memes, but so the first episode of this last season, the only thing I got from Bran was I said, why is this, like, I understood like what his ability was, but I said, how is this guy everywhere at every single time? Like, how does he get to these locations? Like, he's in a wheelchair. Like, is someone pushing him?
yeah, this one is pushing.
Is he
He's just
going really
zipping around.
fast?
You know what's
Like, do you
happening? He's
What?
he's cyborging into Ghost, and Ghost is just like pushing him with the nose, and then he comes back.
Hysterical.
But
What's
that
so
would have
funny-
made his character so much better.
Yeah,
He goes, I care about nothing or whatever.
I don't want
Ghost
anymore.
style.
I'm not even
I
Bran.
don't want. He says I don't want, and then he's like, "That's kind of a cool wheelchair. Yeah, it's actually really expensive and really special, and this is why." And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
understand.
Somebody
Honestly, if they
mentioned
pulled
the
a
wheelchair.
Matrix. Oh,
What?
sorry. If they pulled a Matrix and just have him warg into Ghost and him talking all the time, and then just back to him in his own room eating to survive, and then
Yeah.
back into the dog, it would have been a better story.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
agree.
we need to wrap up this episode soon. Is there anything that anybody wants to talk about before we finish up?
Can we talk about that scene where John killed her?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, the host over there.
I'm sorry.
Talk
Making
about
decisions. Yeah, go for it.
Ruji's on
Jordan.
my side. Yes. All right, so let me get your guys' take on it. I was impacted. I was sad because it was a moment where John has to go outside of his character, so far outside of it that it was literally breaking his heart, and nothing in him wanted to do it, and then he had to do it in such a way that she couldn't strike back, and so it was an intimate betrayal that you can only get from,
That's
for lack of a
absolutely
better term, two lovers.
yeah, absolutely right. That's 100%
I disagree.
I was like, oh, he killed her. Oh, she's dead. Oh, okay. Like, I almost felt like I missed it. Like it didn't. It almost was like
was
someone
really
just told me it
fast.
happened. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a moment where, I go, oh.
No,
Oh,
he
man.
gave her chances.
It was just like, oh.
He
got-
gave her
killed her.
chances. He was
did, the
he
night
was
before.
hoping. He was like, please say the right thing. Please say the right thing. He asked her questions. He's like, what are you gonna do now with the rest of the people? And what's gonna happen now with the 7 kingdoms? And then she's like, well, I'm gonna clean them, or she said something like that, basically
He's gonna
saying,
take over the world.
I'm gonna basically kill everybody who stands in my
Hitler.
way of the good.
Yep.
Right? And it's like, well, what's good according to you? Not everybody's version is good. And he's like, I know what's right. So he saw it. It's like, oh crap, now I have to kill you. And I'm in love with you, kind of. I really don't think he's in love
You know
with
what I
her.
almost wish? I almost wish instead of him talking directly to her, she was giving that speech like at the very beginning, And the whole time she's giving that speech to everyone else, he's putting the pieces together that she's a tyrant and it all clicks. It's almost like a Hitlerian kind of speech where she's like talking to like Nazis almost, you know, and like, it's like, he sees it. She's a tyrant. How did I not see this? And this is it. And imagine he's like walking behind her, like slowly. And then she's talking back to him. And like, there's this long moment where he doesn't say anything, but the audience knows exactly what he's thinking. And then it ends with him just knifing her or something.
Yeah, they were making out, and then he just knifed her.
Yeah, I just thought, I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah,
do you guys think he was going to kill her as the speech was going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I didn't think he was, but
I'm like, he has to kill her now, or that he's not going to get another chance. Like she's about to turn around, get dressed, and leave. Like you have to kill her now. So that's what I
swear to God, she was getting ready to say either seize him or kill him, because right after Tyrion, I'm like, uh-oh, she's cleaning house. It's done.
Yeah,
right.
She felt betrayed.
She knows
by
John's
everybody.
next.
Yeah, she felt betrayed by everybody. She knew John betrayed her. She knew Sansa spoke. So she was ready to go to Winterfell and be like, screw you. Thank you for hating me all this time that I was here and disrespecting me the whole time I was here. All of you are gone. Bye. And he knew that. He knew at the moment that they spoke. That's why before the whole battle, or before like she went to King's Landing, I think she kind of like invited him to stay the night and be with her. You know, it's like, do you love me, or, because I am am I your queen because you love me, or do you love me because I am the queen? Like what? Right. And then he just stayed quiet. He didn't say anything. And I think he was a little bit scared. He was a little bit scared because she just found out that he had said something.
Now, Jordan, did you want to cover anything else in that scene?
No, I mean, y'all pretty much said your opinion. Yeah, we're good.
All right. Anything else before we finish up the episode?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. So, just as people who have watched this entire series and you kind of, have lived with it, knowing that the last season exists and the finale is what it is, would you still recommend this show to people who have not seen it yet?
With a caveat.
Yes.
A caveat of what?
So, I like the 7th season. It wasn't the best one, but I'd say halfway through is when it started going downhill. Right. So I'd have to say this. Going in, this show is incredible. The writing, the directing, the costumes, the fight choreography, the politics makes sense, unlike Star Wars. The universe connects across the oceans, and it matters that she's over there with the Dothraki, and it matters that the Golden Compasses are doing this thing, and then that these things are mentioned. All of this ties in, and it makes sense, and has a flow. But when you fall in love, just remember sometimes you get dumped, and
you get burned.
That's true.
No pun intended, like a dragon.
But the last 2 seasons...
Yeah, because I still recommend Dexter to people, because like the first 4 seasons are really good and then it just falls off. Yeah. But it's still fun to watch those seasons. It's just always disappointing knowing what could have been good.
What could have been.
Yeah, I agree that the caveat is like everything is amazing until HBO took over because, he stopped. So don't throw it out because it really wasn't the storyline. It was supposed to be something else. Yeah. HBO took over. Just don't. In fact, just skip it. You could just end it on the 7th season. Honestly.
I still think it's better than most. It is still better than a lot of TV shows. I watched Supernatural. I watched these cheesy, crappy sci-fi shows. I'm like, it's still better.
Come on, Supernatural. Don't.
I love it. I do, but come on, man.
I know it's too much.
Oof.
I know.
It's pretty cheesy.
Actually, how many times?
So many times.
God's sake. So many times.
So many times.
I agree with like everything that has been said on this podcast. This is the first. Everyone agrees.
Yeah.
It's not everyone versus me.
Can we agree that Tormund is like really the best character in the whole show?
Why did they bring her up? Oh my God.
Tormund was so great.
Wait,
and when Tormund is the red-headed wildling, the one that's in love with Brienne.
The giant killer.
Oh, yeah.
And he went to sleep with her, or he went to see her, and then they were together, and then he starts crying. He's just like, I gave her my heart. I killed all these whites.
But I love how it like takes 1 second, and then he's like, oh, never mind.
And then he's like, I'm gonna drown my sorrows.
You shall warm my bed tonight.
Right? It was so good. I really like him.
All right.
I loved it.
On that note, any last words?
They should have killed everybody in the Battle of Winterfell. End of discussion.
I agree.
Everyone should have died.
Yep.
The end.
Sansa's character gives me heart palpitations.
Because she's so
Yes.
great.
No, because
the North.
she drives me up. She drives me up the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Sansa.
I respect her journey. That's all I'm saying.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
See,
I
this
respect
is
her
right.
journey.
So that is the thing. I can appreciate her.
podcast, here we go.
I can appreciate her character arc, but her character drives me crazy.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And her ending made me very mad.
Yeah.
Dude, that made no sense. Like, seriously, you're just gonna be North Korea? Fine, just go be North Korea.
Yes, we're just gonna be North Korea.
And obviously her brother's gonna be like, yeah, that's fine.
Wouldn't you say, Josh, that you wish she had been killed? Oof! Killed! Death. That's the end of the episode. Okay, guys, so thank you for being on the podcast. Plugs. We always end on death, in case you guys didn't know that. Okay. Starting with Shayne.
Sure. So you can check out the podcast that I host, the Pop Talk Podcast, SoundCloud and iTunes at Pop Talk Podcast. Like I said in previous episode, we're on hiatus right now just for some rebranding purposes, but you can still check out all of the tons and tons of episodes that we have currently, and then you can follow my Instagram to keep up with everything that I am doing at Mr. McCatty, MRMCCATTY. Boom.
Cool. Josh. I don't know if he's on.
No plugs.
Oh, okay. It's like, did we lose him? And he's just like,
Oh,
no.
I forgot to say, sorry,
Shayne,
back to
you
me
do
for 1
this all
second.
the
I
time.
know. I'm so sorry.
It's my favorite part.
I just had to plug my Instagram again. I'm 4 followers away from 500 followers, so follow me on Instagram. Make me happy so I can hit 500
Say
followers.
it one more time.
Mr. McCatty, MRMCCATTY.
Perfect.
Go follow him. Okay, Jordan.
Oh, you can catch me at Jordy Locks on Instagram. It's just a personal account of my adventures with cigars and guns and anything kind of weird and fun I enjoy. You can also watch me on Twitch. I stream with it's a collective group. So instead of individual Twitch streamers, we have one account with 4 different personalities, so you can get different content at Rally Point Home Base on Twitch. So if you like first-person shooters, or if you like role-playing games, or if you like strategy adventure games, there's something for everyone, and it changes. And I'm currently going through the first Mass Effect game.
Can you spell that? Rally Effect?
Yeah, it's
Or
Rally
Point?
RALLY Point POINT Home Base on Twitch.
Cool. All right, Ruji.
Hey.
This is the first time giving plugs. Pressure.
No,
Which
I've
by
done
the
this
way,
before.
can we,
Oh, the
which,
pressure.
which by the way, can we just acknowledge Ruji has no longer has?
Oh,
the
I was going to
hiccups.
say that.
Yeah.
It's like at a certain point in the episode, it was like, thank God.
I looked at him and I was like, Luke, it's over.
She gives me like the what is it? The cut it off. Like
Yeah.
it's done.
It's done.
It went away.
Yeah, so that was my update. My plug, I actually have a podcast with my roommate. It's called Sleepless in Miami, so you can check that out. We haven't posted anymore because we actually transitioned to YouTube. So our channel on YouTube is Sleepless in Miami TV. And if you want to check our Instagram, we do have some nice little funny memes and just like cute pictures.
Memes.
Aesthetically pleasing pictures that I try very hard to keep. And you can follow us there at Sleepless in MIA. And if you want my personal account, just go over to Luke's account because I'm tagged in everything.
It's not Ruji though. It's at RU. Oh, I have to
It's
spell
my
it.
name.
I know.
Oh, spell my
I've
name.
never spelled your name
Oof.
with my mouth.
Oh.
RUJAINE.
Say again.
Ruhaine.
Say that again.
No. I already did it once. We're
I
done.
didn't hear it.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
You can follow our podcast Instagram at WAITSB podcast. That's where we post funny memes and polls.
So
and
many
stuff.
memes.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
It's great memes.
We're memeing it up on that Instagram. So go follow us on there if you want to. We had actually on the last episode, a girl literally messaged me and said, I know a lot about the topic you're going to talk about. And I was like, come on the episode.
I was about to say,
she was
who is
on
this girl?
Yeah, she was on. Okay. So she was on the episode, and it's like, so,
I heard her, yeah.
So message us, talk to us, and get involved. And who knows, you might be on one of these episodes.
You just gotta fly from Miami first. That's all.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what you're saying. So follow our Instagram, WAITSB podcast, and you can follow my Instagram, Luke Roxwell. That's LUKEROCKS. I post funny memes, my opinions, and pictures. So if you want all things Luke Roxwell, follow me there.
Did you spell your whole Instagram?
Yeah.
Roxwolds?
Did I say
Hard
S?
to say.
Yeah, you said S at the end.
I'm gonna listen back to this and see if I actually did that. But I'm gonna...
Spell it again just to be safe.
LUKER. Ugh. I went too fast. LUKEROCKSWOLD. Boom. Follow my Instagram. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for being on the podcast. If you got Game of Thrones spoiled, that's on you. Your fault. So thanks for listening, everybody. And outro music.
No.